working.
Okay.
Get the clubs out yet, Lee?
We were thinking about playing later this afternoon.
Yeah, I knew it.
Okay, we're good. You are live.
Okay, we're live. If the chairman wants to call the meeting to order, and we'll do the roll call.
Yeah, let's call the meeting to order of January of the Brownfield Authority.
Okay, Freely,
Present via Zoom, Baroda Township.
Harrison,
Present via Zoom from Lincoln Township.
Klett,
Present from Lincoln Township via Zoom.
Madc,
Present via Zoom from Niles, Michigan.
Vangenhoven.
Present via Zoom from Lincoln Charter Township.
Okay, everyone's present. It looks like in the agenda we did not leave room for public comments. Mike, do you want to go ahead and have public comments right now?
It's there. It's under correspondence, Dan.
Oh, is it? I'm sorry, forget it. I missed it, my fault. All right. The purpose of meeting today is really for organizational reasons. We don't have a lot to discuss, but it is the first meeting of the year, and during the first meeting of the year, we are required to elect officers. The current officers are Madc as chair, Vangenhoven as vice chair, and Freeling as secretary. So you will need to appoint a new slate of officers for the 2021 fiscal year.
I make a motion that we continue with the same slate of officers for the next year.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Vangenhoven, second by Klett to continue with the slate of officers. I think we have to do a roll call for this, right?
Yep.
All right. Freeling. I take that as a yes. Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Harry,
Yeah.
you-
All right, that's a yes. There we go.
Good.
All right, we got Freeling as a yes. Harrison?
Yes.
Okay. Klett.
Yes.
Madc.
Yes, I understand this is a tough job, this one. I think we should do a recount just in case.
Vangenhoven.
Yes.
Okay, it is unanimous, assuming there are no absentee ballots. Okay, you have before you the minutes from our September 17th meeting, which it's hard to believe it's the last time we met. Are there any corrections, additions, or deletions? And if not, we'll look for a motion to approve.
This is Commissioner Harrison. I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as presented.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, so motion by Harrison, support by Vangenhoven. All in favor?
You got to do a roll call.
Roll call again. Sorry, thank you guys. I'm not used to this. Freeling,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Klett,
Yes.
Madc,
He's getting there.
He was
I
not.
saw it. Yeah, I saw a yes there, did you?
Yeah.
All right. There we go, all right. Vangenhoven,
Yes.
okay, thank you. We have no correspondence to report. And I guess now would be the time for public comments.
So currently, I'm the only one watching, so I don't think that you have any, but I can always check back again at the end if you'd like me to do that. But as of right now, you don't have any.
Sounds good, okay. All right, skipping ahead, we do not have any bills to approve or ratify. We haven't actually made any disbursements since our last meeting. We have made some collections though. We sent out a copy of the balance sheet to you yesterday, I believe, and this is the balance sheet for January 2021. It's current as of yesterday. You'll see that we have $1,694,597 in our cash. We have 0 liabilities, so our unassigned fund balance is the same as the cash balance, $1,694,000. I'll remind you, as I've done in the past, that cash balance includes a collection of $1,196,000 in tax increment finance revenue that we'll be dispersing after the March settlement period. So if you want to really think about it in those terms, our true fund balance, that is the fund balance that we'll have available after TIF disbursement, is right around $500,000, which is very healthy, and if we wind up doing some projects this year that require some direct financing, we'll have the ability to do that. We are still anticipating for winter tax collection 2020, which will happen, it's happening right now and it'll close out in February. We're anticipating about another $144,000 in TIF revenues to be coming in from the local units. And we do still have some unsettled summer taxes that we haven't collected yet, but that's pretty common, and we generally get those settled up as the local units come and do their tax settlement with the county treasurer. So, we're short, I think we're short about $6,000 or $7,000 in delinquent taxes, which is normally about where we'd be right now. So we'll get those settled up at the end of March. So in other words, we're looking like we're in a good position. Fund balance is healthy. Tax collections are right on track where they should be, and we should be able to make our disbursements in April and May as we normally do. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
Okay. Well, if you'd like me to move along, to give you just a couple updates here, Harbor Shores I just talked about, we're expecting about another $140,000 coming out on Harbor Shores. I think the written update I gave you folks in December talked about where the development stood in terms of new construction permits and foundations being poured in the Harbor Village portion of the project. It's my expectation, I was just down there over the weekend, and there's quite a bit of construction going on right now if you drive through there. One of the large condominium buildings that's right on the harbor is more or less totally framed in, and the interior work is being done this winter. I understand there's going to be another one that's likely to go up sometime this spring. The foundations will be poured and construction will start on that. And there's, of course, all the single-family residential units that are being built right now. I counted 5 foundations that were in the ground right now, with vertical construction will probably start. It's been a pretty good winter for construction so far, so I think the intention is that the builders are going to move forward throughout the winter on the framing of those houses. So surprisingly, we're getting close to the end of the major construction of Harbor Shores, even though it's been going on for 16 years. There's only about 1 remaining development parcel that offers the opportunity for new development, and we may, throughout 2021, we may be asked to look at some proposals for the development of that parcel. But we'll have more on that for you probably at the February meeting. So the project's moving along well.
Hey, Dan, any
yes.
idea? Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
Any idea how many commitments on the condo buildings? Have you heard?
I don't know that, Bob, and I'm reluctant to speculate on this, but as I recall, they weren't going to construct the condos until they had, I thought it was 80% reservations on them. I may be off on that because it's been a couple of years since that was proposed, but I think that they required 80% reservation before construction even began. So that would give you an idea of what the commitments are right now on it.
Okay.
But I could ask for verified numbers on that.
And what about
Yeah.
the MADC audit? How is that going, or is it done?
That's completed. I sent out the information to them. I think at the September meeting, I was discussing that with you.
We did.
And we got everything up to them. They were satisfied with the explanations. Our numbers are spot on in terms of when we report what we've captured versus what we've distributed and what the tax system is showing. So, I mean, we balance everything down to the penny. Their concern about the delay in the period of time that it's taken for this TIF to emerge, the standard explanations are, well, we had a recession, we had a housing bubble that collapsed, and then it's taken additional time to recover from that, but the project is moving forward fine. We are going to potentially run into a challenge here in that the Brownfield plan will expire at some point, and it's likely that when that happens, all of the TIF eligible costs will not have been reimbursed yet. That's quite a few years down the road, but just judging from the direction that the collections are going, I think it's likely that there will be unreimbursed costs at the end of the project. And the developers are well aware of that. That's, that's always a risk that they bear when they do these kind of projects. But in any event, short answer is MEDC audit's fine. They're satisfied with our answers. Our numbers are in balance, so we don't have anything to be concerned about in that regard.
Dan, in terms of the recovery of the TIF that you just mentioned, is there any actions that either we or the county can take to get out in front of that and maybe head that off?
Could you expand on that a little bit, Lee? What exactly are you asking?
Well, when you talked about the Brownfield plan expiring, and at that point the TIF might not have been recovered, is there something that we can do or the county can do to get in front of that to see that doesn't happen?
Yes, generally speaking, in any project, we could proactively attempt to extend the duration of the TIF plan if we thought that was necessary. I think the issue here, Lee, is going to be that there's a statutory limitation on how long a TIF plan can exist, and if I'm recalling correctly, it's either 30 or 35 years. And my guess is that we're going to run into that statutory limitation. So if that's the case, there's really not much we can do to extend it at that point. But like I said, this is still a number of years down the road. I think we'll have a better estimation of how the collections are going once the few remaining parcels of the project get developed, because that'll be it. That'll be all the TIF that's available at that point. But it's again, like I said, I think it's pretty likely that we're going to run into the statutory limitation of the Brownfield period.
Well, speaking for myself and Larry, I suspect I may speak for you here as well. Both of us having been on the board for a while, I would certainly not want to leave the board some years ahead and leave this for a new board. So if there is anything that we can do, I would certainly be interested in exploring that.
I think those discussions are likely to occur probably this year anyway, Lee, because there's the other element here is that the 425 agreement that transferred the parcels from St. Joe to Benton Harbor is slated to expire, I believe, in the next 2 years. So that is motivating discussions right now about what amendments need to be made to ensure that the project is completed in the way it was originally intended. When that 425 discussion occurs, I'm sure there's going to be a discussion about the TIF plan and whether or not the duration of it is adequate. So I'll keep you abreast of what discussions are occurring.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, I have a couple miscellaneous items too. The project.
Jeff, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The project that we've discussed that's cited for the M63 Enterprise Way location. I had a meeting with the environmental engineers on this last Friday. I was expecting we'd see the Brownfield plan a few months ago. But things are moving very slowly right now for obvious reasons. My expectation is that plan is probably going to come to us at the February meeting or the March meeting at the latest. My impression is that the developer is ready to move, the lockdowns and everything delayed a lot of these projects, but I think that a lot of people are anxious in the spring to get up and get their developments moving forward. So I fully expect that by February or March, the latest, we're gonna have a brownfield plan presented to us for that M63 site. I've already been in contact with officials at Benton Township. We'll have to do the formal agreements where the Benton Township requests that we undertake the project on their behalf and so forth, but we've been through that before. The scope and scale of the project has not changed in the last few months. We're still looking at infrastructure and environmental reimbursements of somewhere between $600,000 to $700,000. It's not a huge project in terms of TIF, but it's a significant amount, and it'll take a number of years to repay it. It's essentially just a residential housing development, I think as we've discussed in the past, that includes what are basically duplex, single-story duplex units. And as we bring the plan forward, we'll have the site plan available for you to look at, even though it's really not under our purview. We'll put the site plan up, you can take a look at what they're trying to do here, but it's a nice development. And how affordable housing is becoming more and more of an issue in the county, in all areas of the county. So to see some of these pure residential housing developments move forward, I think is a good thing, particularly at the prices that some of these developers are now considering offering the units at. So, like I said, February, March the latest, we should be starting the approval process on that project. The Berrien Hills project, which, we got, maybe 50% down the road on, and then the developers backed out, it all fell apart, and then a new developer really just kind of emerged out of nowhere, which was fortunate. That is actually starting to pick up some steam now. I have a meeting next Wednesday, I believe it is, with the engineering team that's been retained by the new proposed developer for that site. They are working on their site plan right now, and they have preliminary engineering numbers put together for us to review. So the purpose of this meeting next week is to try to sit down and figure out what the structure is going to be, how the Brownfield Authority could or would be involved in this project. And as I've mentioned in the past, whether or not there can be a possible partnership with the Berrien County Land Bank Authority. As soon as that meeting's over, if I think there's information coming out of that the board needs to know about, I will send a memo out briefing you on it. But I wouldn't say that this is a done deal, but it's looking more and more likely that we're going to be able to support some kind of development of that site this year and then moving forward in subsequent years. I don't know the scale of what they're proposing at this point. I think it's similar to what we looked at previously, but like I said, by Wednesday I should have a pretty solid idea of what the scale and the cost is going to be on this. And then the last thing is one of the reasons I wanted you to come in this month to do some of the organizational stuff and some quick updates is because I am informed, and I believe that on February 11th, we will be reviewing a substantial brownfield plan for a proposed development here in the north part of the county. I'm not at liberty to discuss the details of it in a public meeting, but it's my expectation that the proposed developer will have a delivered plan in our hands, ready to be reviewed by the Brownfield Authority at its February 11th meeting. As soon as I have that plan, and as soon as the developer is willing to announce publicly that they're undertaking this plan, I will circulate that to the board members so that you can review it in advance of the February 11th meeting. At that meeting, if everything goes according to schedule, at that meeting we'll do a full review of the plan, and of course it's been a while since we've done one. At the end of it, if you determine that the project should move forward, you're going to be asked to pass a resolution recommending the adoption of that plan by the county board. And then we go through the process of the public hearings and the approvals at the board level. So stay tuned. Please make sure that you're available on February 11th, because this is going to be a pretty heady and complex plan that we'll have to go through together. And that is, I think, all I have for updates right now, if anyone has any questions.
Well, is there anything on South County like INDEC or the National Standard Project?
INDEC, I am gosh, when am I scheduled to be down there? I think I'm scheduled to be down there at the end of this month to start going through the preliminary bill payment process. They've submitted some of their costs for reimbursement. And I think it's the end of this month, we're gonna start going through those and then prepare the reimbursement payment process to occur after winter tax collections completed. As I think, as I've indicated to the board repeatedly, I kind of volunteered to remain involved in this project as long as was necessary so that Niles felt that they were following the correct procedures and they understood what they were doing. So I expect to be kind of involved in this on a semi-annual basis for the next few years at least, as they get, as the bills start to get paid and the TIF revenue starts coming in. The national standard one, unfortunately, I have not seen any movement on the national standard one. I was expecting that that would move more quickly, but from what I gather, the leaseholder and owner are having a difficult time getting the closures established on that property to the degree that it would be necessary to undertake some kind of development on the site. The project is not dead. I know it's moving forward, but until they can get those, you know, essentially the releases provided by the EPA and Eagle, there's not a lot that can happen at this point. Again, I don't want to speculate necessarily, Mike, but I think that probably that's going to get done this year, and that the proposed development could move forward pretty quickly after that because it doesn't require a considerable amount of construction to do what they're talking about on that site. Which, as I think I announced to you, was basically a solar panel site, or a solar farm that they were talking about building on that. So, if I hear anything, I will let you know, but right now, both the city and the county Brownfield Authority is kind of in the background on this until the private parties can work out the releases on the land.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to ask or add?
No.
We're good.
Okay.
Thanks for the report.
All right.
today.
Well,
You want to check for other public comments? Or
Yeah.
you the one on the,
I'm watching it. I've asked a couple more times. There's 4 watching now, but I don't have any other, you know, like I said, I've asked a couple times if anybody had any public comments, and there aren't any. So I think you're good.
I got my shot yesterday. Has anyone had their shot yet?
good for you.
Good.
good for you, Larry.
Wish I could.
Yeah, we're not quite allowed to yet, Larry, but
Yeah, but I thought because you're county employees, maybe they would take care of you, so.
well, we're not considered to be that important, so.
Okay. All right.
Priority F. Priority.
Exactly. All right, well, thanks everyone, and stay tuned for the 11th meeting. As information comes out on that, I'll get it into your hands in advance of the meeting.
We should make a motion to adjourn.
I make
I
that
move
motion.
we adjourn. I move.
I'll second that.
Do we need ayes or do we need to do a head count?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Bye.
Aye. Aye.
aye.
Aye.
All right.